Hi guys, this is episode number 3 and happy Valentine's Day! I figure Valentine's Day is a great time to introduce your significant other on the internet. So internet, meet Lee! Say hello.
Hi.
So this is Lee, he is my fiance, and today we are going to be going through our top 5 favorite love stories through books.
My number 5 for love stories is Steelheart by Brandon Sanderson. Two characters that are in the romantic relationship are David and Megan. They have a really interesting relationship because, honestly, Megan hates him for the longest time throughout the story.
I do.
Yeah, she hates him for the longest time throughout the story. He just falls for her, head over heels, and by the end of it, he does prove himself, and they go their separate ways, and it's a really sad ending. So, I mean, that's why it's my number 5. The series is still going on, so it could improve.
And my number 5 is Dance with the Devil by Sherilyn Kenyon. In this, the relationship is between a dark hunter named Zarek and Astrid. Zarek is kind of insane, and he has kind of a right to be because he's kind of been tortured his entire life and hated for who he is. Astrid is sent to judge him, and if she judges him guilty, he gets sentenced to death. And they end up falling in love, and she kind of tames him a little bit. He is a dark hunter, which is kind of like a vampire, except that they don't feed on blood.
My next favorite is Roland Deschain and Susan Delegado from the Dark Tower series. Their love story happens in A Wizard in Glass. Their love story is a really tragic one. It's his first assignment as a gunslinger. He goes to this little town and meets her and falls madly in love, and she, of course, is promised to the town mayor. Well, they keep their love secret for as long as possible, and it just ends horribly, and it scars Roland throughout his entire life. It's one of the more tragic stories I've actually read. I gotta say, it's always hard to read. I would highly recommend it. There's also a comic book series based on this. The comic book is called The Gunslinger Born. It actually tells their story. It actually does it quite well, so if you don't want to read the series, check that one out. And it
is, of course, written by Stephen King, which I don't think he said. Stephen King lovers, it's not a horror-type novel.
It's a journey novel,
a journey, adventure-type series.
Published
book he ever
first.
really wrote, and just so, have some conflict here, I hated it.
Yeah, she did.
I did. Alright, my number 4 pick is Alec and Magnus Bane in the Mortal Instruments series. What I love about this relationship is that it's kind of not started at the beginning because Alec is in love with Jace, but he meets Magnus and they kind of fall in love, and Magnus kind of tells him, "You are the only one for me. Even if you will die before me, you will have an impact on me my entire life, and I'm willing to risk the sadness that will come after your death for the happiness that I can have with you." And my favorite part actually happens in this, where Alec kisses Magnus in front of his entire family. I think that's the best scene in the entire book series.
Well, it sounds interesting. I haven't personally read the series.
He has not. He did see the movie. I did drag him to the movie.
I mean, I'm planning on reading it just on her suggestion. So, number 3 is Adam and Mercy from the Mercy Thompson novels Mooncalled.
Which was my last video.
Yeah, they have a really interesting relationship, seeing as how he's a werewolf and she's a skinwalker.
Turns into a coyote.
Anyway, it's really good. Adam's in love with her from the beginning of the series, but she just doesn't quite get it. It's pretty obvious.
They do go out on a date at the end of this book.
Okay.
I reread it. They went, she rescues him from the bad guys and to say, "Thank you for rescuing me and my daughter. We're going to take you out to dinner." And then Jessie calls and says she's sick, and then so Adam starts coming over to get her, and then she calls Mercy and says, "Don't worry, I'm not really sick. I just want you two to be alone."
I haven't read the book in over a year,
Yeah,
so
it's been
I'm
a while.
allowed to forget small bits. It's actually one of the better love stories I have. Sadly, there's 3 or 4 different love triangles around her.
Three.
Three.
And one of them I don't even count.
It's really frustrating in any case. I really like the story, though, and they seem like one of the better couples.
Alright, my number 3 choice is Will and Lyra from his Dark Materials trilogy. His Dark Materials was probably the second series that I ever picked up. First one, of course, being Harry Potter. And when I started reading the second book in the series, and it's Will, it's like, where did Lyra go? I loved her. Where'd she go? But once they get together, it turns into a beautiful love story that, of course, builds over time. He rescues her, she protects him from her parents, and they go through and they get into the world of the dead. But they go through it together, and at that point they're really, really in love. And they come out the end. Lyra says to him that when they go back to the world of the dead, they will leave it and their atoms will find each other and cling to each other for the rest of time. I thought it was a romantic kind of touching thing, but I like their love story a lot. It's fairly realistic, and one of the romantic things that they say that they're going to do is that there's a bench that exists in both her world and in his world, and one day a year they go to that bench and they sit side by side, even though they're in parallel universes, just so that they can spend time with each other.
I guess we're down to my number 2 pick. I don't have the first book with me right now, but...
He's loading it out.
Yeah, I'm loading it out. It is Marion Alston and Swindapa Corlelo. Their love story is actually quite interesting. The whole idea of the book is the island in Nantucket is teleported back to the year 1250 BC, and Alston and Corlelo meet. Alston's first journey to Britain. She's given Swindapa as a slave. She frees her, and Swindapa, as they put it, sticks to her like glue. I mean, she just falls head over heels in love with her. I'm still currently reading the series, but...
So he doesn't know how the relationship ends, is the point of that.
Yeah, as far as I know, it hasn't ended. It's just great, and they grow so well over the next 2 books together. It's really touching, and to see them, grow as individuals, and to actually see how much they really love each other.
Alright, for my number 2 choice, I decided to go with Christian and Lissa. I watched the movie, it's pronounced Lissa. My favorite thing the most about the Vampire Academy series at all are the guys in it. I love Dimitri, I love Christian, and I absolutely love Adrian. Adrian is my favorite. They make a great couple, they balance each other out fairly well, and they can help each other through emotional times, and they understand each other, and they know that they can talk things over. So they get my second pick for favorite love stories.
This is my final pick, and it's probably the best love story I've read this year.
I really love it too.
Or last year.
I really love it too.
Yeah, Megan actually got me started in the series.
I did get him started in the series.
It is Styxx by Sherilyn Kenyon. Nice, pretty cover there.
Which was my number 5 pick, same author.
The love story here in Styxx is between the main character, Styxx, of course, and Bethany. Styxx just has an awful life. I mean, it is probably the worst. Yeah, he has the worst time of any character I've ever read. And Bethany is the one shining star in this blackness. But yeah, I mean, he meets Bethany, and that's the one good thing in his life.
She really is.
And he continues to love her for what, 11,000 years?
I think so. I think it's 11,000 years.
He's trapped on an island for 11,000 years, and
she kind of dies. Styxx believes that she's dead for 11,000 years, and he's
trapped.
Solitary kind of confinement, pretty much, on an island.
I mean, even after he gets off the island, he just can't get over her. During this time, she's locked in the basement of his brother.
Frozen as a statue.
Yeah, I know, it sounds crazy. I mean, you just gotta read it, give it a shot.
They also have to keep in mind that the Greek gods and goddesses play a big part in this series, and actually the one who turned her into a statue is his brother's mom, Ptolemy, the Atlantean goddess of destruction. Alright, time for my number 1, and if you watched my first video, you should already know what it is, and also he mentioned it. My favorite love story of all time is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, because they grow off of each other. They both start out as not the best people that they could possibly be. And once they get to know each other, they realize, oh, I was wrong. It's not really as bad as I thought it was. He's much nicer than I thought he was. And he thinks, well, I guess I came off as bad and I didn't really want to. And they both become better people because of their relationships. Alright, so I think that's about it for the Valentine's Day episode. Feel free to tell me what your favorite love stories are in the comments. Lee is going to want to start his own channel before too long.
Hopefully.
This was a very fun episode to shoot. I enjoyed having him here, and it will happen again.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.